Big Grim? Are you? Did you have a rough night? You have a kink in your neck from sleeping? You okay there? What's going on there, buddy? Is there something over to your right?
Man, you just gotta go with it, man. Come on, let's just do the review.
Oh, I get it. The Exorcist. You're trying to turn the head. Okay. Yeah. Well, it was scarier than what we got in the actual Exorcist movie. So, Exorcist believer. Let's start the review.
I'm a believer.
Guys, gals, and other pals, to another edition of The Final Credits, and this time we are taking a look at The Exorcist Believer, and, not exactly, made me a believer, but passable, in all honesty. Some of the effects were pretty good. Feel like we got shortchanged with a very little bit of the movie, but all in all, honestly, passable. It's not the best thing, but passable. Guys, chime in, please.
Roll credits. That's all you need to hear.
Wow!
Are we saving your opinion for last?
Was that Spade?
I said, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Look, realistically, this movie is okay. To me, I felt it was more like a thriller drama than it was a horror movie. There was no horror in this at all. Even the jump scares were okay. I don't know. I enjoyed it as a movie to waste my time for, but as a horror movie and a movie that's supposed to be a true continuation of the original, no, not at all.
What we got was, I guess, nor every other movie, and we'll do a direct sequel to the original movie from the 70s. In this case, exactly, or almost exactly 50 years ago. I thought it was just all right. The two girls that were supposed to drive this movie, I looked scary as hell. I thought they did a good job with that. The movie at time, the pacing issues, like I mentioned in the short, and it was just all over the place, especially like the big scene when they're in the house and they're trying to use every religious tactic possible to get the demons out of the girls. That scene seemed pretty crowded. It all over the place. I mean, I don't hate it to Johnny 64 level, but barely passable. I can't wait for when you go. But it was just a cash in on a legendary horror name. I mean, it barely passes for the casual horror fan, but I don't know. I can understand why I got the reviews that it did.
All right, you guys are giving this movie way too much credit. Like, listen, this is The Exorcist, right? It's a direct sequel to the original Exorcist, which is a movie that to this day, I mean, you could argue, I definitely believe it is like the best horror movie of all time. It took risks. It had a disturbing dark tone. Like you felt like you were committing a sin just by watching it, right? And it leaves a legacy to this day. This movie, I mean, especially the fact that they got Ellen Burstyn back to reprise her role as wasn't it Chris MacNeil, right? The mother of Reagan from the original movie. They got it back. We're seeing these trailers. We're expecting something big. Like this is going to be like a good homage to call back to the original film. Do it some justice, and we got none of that. Like none of the aspects of the original Exorcist were there in this movie. I mean, Spade, the fact that you even said this wasn't a horror movie, this was more of a drama, that means this movie failed immediately. I mean, it's Pancakes, like you said it best, like it's a cash in. They put the Exorcist name on it. They rehashed. It's another young girl or two girls this time are possessed, so that just clearly changes everything up. And there was like little substance to it. Like there was nothing. It was like outside of what 3 cheap jump scares, and you can even debate that like all 3 of those jump scares were actually jump scares. There was nothing like truly scary too. Fine. truly scary about this movie. There was some disturbing violent scenes, like towards like the climax and everything, when everybody was trying to perform the exorcism.
Oh,
But it fell flat on every single level, and I honestly was like this close to walking out towards the end because I was like, this isn't it. This ain't it, Chief. Like,
Do you
sorry.
think that because we were spoiled with the original and every other horror movie afterwards that we are kind of, I don't know, numb to all types of horror, and in order for it to be
No.
better, we have to go more extreme?
No.
yes.
Big Grim, you go first, but no.
Okay, so here's the deal. Because at least for my sense, I may have numbed myself in the sense that I never saw the original Exorcist until like a few days before we went to go see Believer. And I thought to myself, you know what? This is probably a good opportunity. Like, we're going to see like a direct sequel. It should be a good idea to familiarize myself with the first one, maybe. So, saw
Yeah.
that for the first time. Thought it was amazing. Like, for its time, even for like today, I can understand why some people would still be the way that they are.
Mhm.
And then I just see this before us. And all right, let me be honest. Like, for like the majority of the movie, I thought it was a pass right up until we got to the climax of the ending. And boy howdy, when actually we got
It
home.
took you that long to get to that level? Because I can name a scene
Well-
way before that where I just
Well,
completely
hang on.
lost it with this movie.
Hang on, no, because I actually like called up like a couple of friends and I told them I was going to go see this movie, and I inexplicably went on like one of my rants that I haven't gone on in a long time, like to the point where I just like drew everything out, and I'm just like, wow, I really didn't like that ending. That ending was
No.
hot garbo.
Yeah.
It really was. And listen, if you like, share, and subscribe, maybe I'll post that rant one day.
I kind of like the twists they did when the demon says, and I'm getting a call about my criticism
How
already.
dare you? Yeah.
Um,
Let's see. See how fast that
I
works?
I kind of dig what they were trying to do with the twist. Like, you can only save one girl, but the one girl that they end up getting picked is the one that gets killed. I mean, it was a good effort. They definitely could have spelled it out better. I know.
Pancakes.
But-
It is like we had the same argument right after this movie. We literally had the same argument.
Mhm.
To
We did.
which, like, it's so obvious.
I
Like,
know
to
the dad walked
anyone
in.
who is like a storyteller, anyone who is write any form of fan fiction, hell, a high school essay, they'll look at this and say, "Oh no, who would have known? The devil is a liar."
Yeah, to give context to the viewers, basically everything came down to like the one devil is possessing both of these girls, and then they tell everybody in the room you have to pick and choose which one dies and which one lives. Are you like it's in the very first book of the Bible in Genesis, just to not trust what the snake is telling you about the apple. Like, you do not trust the devil when you're trying to make a deal with him. That's really what it comes down to. And of course, somebody cracks, and then he tries to choose his own daughter, and then the other one ends up living, and his own daughter dies, so he got screwed over. Big shock, like
That's why-
that was dumb. That was
That's why I
incredibly
said
dumb.
the phrase what they were trying to do. But if I can bring it back to 2 months ago, where we saw another horror movie, even though it's predictable as hell, I would say the demeanor was scarier and a better overall horror movie than what we got.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because
actually,
it nailed
yeah.
its dark tone. It actually
Right.
tried to be scary outside of cheap jump scares. It tried to actually creep you out and disturb you.
Right.
This movie didn't do that. Period.
Like I said,
And-
this movie was not a horror movie. Other than the 2 jump scares, There was no horror in it. Just
No.
what? Just because the girls looked a little bit demonic? Ooh. Like even
But
the
there were
build
two
up
things.
to that wasn't scary enough. There was no horror element in this movie. That's it.
Spade, to answer your question from before, like, did we get spoiled with the original Exorcist? No,
I think we did.
because this
did.
movie could have been so much better. Like, maybe if it wasn't as good as the original, still, it could have been so much better. Could have been so much scarier for two reasons. First of all the characters in these movies were insufferable. Like, none of these people, like, except for maybe the main character, the dad, like, I was probably rooting for him the most, but like everybody else, like, I just was hoping the devil was going to take them out, which he kind of did for a little bit. But like, compare the exorcism by the priest in the first movie and in the original movie. Like, it's not easy to make priests cool characters in movies. But that guy was a fucking badass of a Catholic.
Yeah, he was a G.
Like,
God,
he reminded me of like Rocky Balboa in priest form.
Yes.
None of the people in and what did we get in this movie? A bunch of Bible Belt, cringeworthy, like Midwestern like hacks.
And the father wasn't even religious. And the father wasn't religious
he wasn't
at all.
Religious, right? But everybody else was, to like a very cringy, culty level, and you couldn't. Like you couldn't get behind them because you wanted, like, they were so cringy and they were so insufferable that you wanted them to get taken out too.
Yes.
So that was problem number one.
True.
That was problem number one. Problem number two, and this is probably one of the biggest things, this is what I was mentioning before, Big Grim, when I said that there was a scene that really lost me like way before the ending, was Ellen Bernstein's cameo, which was completely wasted. It was completely I've never been so disappointed, and we're coming off of movies this year like The Flash. You want to talk about cheap, bad cameos?
Here we go.
Like we have no shortage of those this year. But this was like, it was almost like irresponsible what they did. They introduce her character. She has one scene where she's talking with the main character, and then she has another scene where she's at the house and encounters the first possessed girl, and she immediately gets like almost killed and nerfed and taken out. Her eyes are stabbed out of her head basically, and she's out for the count for the rest of the movie. Like, what kind of ending to her character from 50 years ago is that? And then wait, hold on one second. And then, if that wasn't enough, you want to talk about an even cheaper cameo. Reagan, the original actress, returns for 5 seconds just to spontaneously visit her mother after her mother complained that she never visited her. So you want to talk about a wasted opportunity that could have been so much better. Like, this movie could have been so much better if it got those aspects right.
Are you saying that the surprise guests showing up were better in The Flash than they were in The Exorcist Believer?
Yeah, because
I'll say it. Yes.
At least I knew. I went into with The Flash, like, I knew going in that it was going to be just like no expectations. It's going to be as bad as like you're expecting to be, and it was. So I wasn't disappointed. This, I thought they were going to show some love to the original movie, and they kind of shit on it. They really did, and they dropped the ball. So,
Johnny, I'm going to propose something to you real quick, okay? These two cameos. What if we actually switch them around for a hot second?
I had that thought.
Instead of getting the mother, because we watched we all saw the original Exorcist. At the very end, Reagan had no idea about what happened to her.
Yes.
But you could always say that, like, there's been some form of darkness still following her for like the rest of her life. Okay. And whether like a book came out of it or whatever, you could still have the father find Reagan, who wrote the book, and have the mother just like, wander off, go out and figure out the rest of her life because she didn't want to be surrounded by this darkness.
That's a better movie already.
Yeah. Literally have roughly the same things and have the demons just like, tempt Reagan with saying your mother sucks cocks in hell and shit like that. And just go on with that much. Have her actually be part of the exorcism. Yes, fine. Then you could have the demons like stab her in the eyes and whatever. And then at the very end, you see her mother come to her hospital bed, and yay, everyone's alive! Hooray! Hooray! Except for one kid in the
Sure.
corner, but hooray! Hooray!
I
That's already
completely
a
agree.
movie.
So about the wasted cameo at the end, Linda Blair was just working as some background. Linda Blair just wanted to work, didn't want a major role. She just worked as an advisor, so she probably made an agreement.
He sucked
just
as an
to-
advisor then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I
Like,
guess
come on.
so, and that's
I'm
why she
disappointed in
probably
her
just
now.
agreed to do the one cameo. And to be fair, the actress coming back playing Christy MacNeil, to be fair, she can only be in a certain amount of scenes. She's 90 years old. You know,
So
you
what?
can
I get
only
it.
do-
I get
Yes,
it. I know.
which actually, Pancakes, makes my idea even better. Have her
Yeah.
show
Wonder-
up for one scene, because again, she's 90 years old.
Everything. No, you're right. Everything that Ellen Burstyn did in that movie, that should have been Linda Blair. I mean, like, think, like, I'm gonna give you like a fan fiction idea right now. That'll be like, let's say after the events of the first movie, she has some, like, she grows up, like, you know, like she's haunted and all that stuff, like you said, and she just decides to join the church, and like she gets into the same way her mother does, instead of writing a book, she's like, no, I'm going to become part of the church and become an exorcist expert myself, and have her, I think you mentioned it, like have her perform the exorcism on these two girls and have that full redemption arc. And whether or not she gets her eyes stabbed out, or maybe she even gets killed, fine. But then at least you have closure. At least you have a character arc. At least you have some sort of development. And you have Ellen Burstyn, like you said, given like a short cameo. She can only do so much at the age of 90. Fine. But you're completely correct. I totally agree that they should have reversed the roles, and it just would have made it a completely different movie, at least a completely different ending, and a much better one.
If I could bring it back to one positive in the movie, to piggyback off something you said, John, the lead in the movie, Aaron Burr himself from Hamilton, Leslie Odom, I thought he turned in
Yes.
a respectable performance. He carried what he was given from this
Yes.
iffy script. He did a decent job of carrying the emotion from the opening scene where he lost his wife in Haiti in the earthquake. I believe they were in Haiti, to the ending where he was finally able to save his daughter, or when he got his daughter back. So that was probably the biggest positive in a film that was all over the place. He did a really good job overall of carrying the movie of what was given to him.
Yeah, I agree. He did really well. I think he's just like a pretty established actor too. So I mean, I actually wouldn't mind seeing him in more movies. So
Wholeheartedly
Yeah.
agree.
yeah, he was probably the best part about it. I agree.
Well, guys, final thoughts on this? Anything that you still want to put in?
Yep, I was just
Okay,
about to do the
cool.
same thing.
All right. That's two. That's two. Pancakes. All right. That's three. That's fine. And
Mid.
I guess I will also. You know what? I'm gonna join Pancakes in saying mid. So that's how we feel about The Exorcist Believer. Let us know how you feel. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Put them down the doobly-doo. Let us know. Are we right? Are we wrong? Have you been possessed lately? Let us know. Until then, roll credits. We're out.
Roll credits.
And remember, power of Christ compels you.